What's up everyone? Today I'm down at Mooresville Ford and behind me is a 2019 Ford Mustang. Huge thanks to them for providing this vehicle for me today. They're starting to get in a ton of 2019s to the dealer, so they have a huge selection to choose from. I'll have their website down in the description below. The model that we're looking at today is the Mustang Bullitt. It's finished off in dark Highland green metallic with an MSRP just under $52,000. Under the hood is an upgraded 5-liter V8. This has a larger 87mm throttle body and modified intake manifold from the Shelby GT350, and this is only paired to the 6-speed manual transmission. This engine produces 480 horsepower at 7,000 RPM and 420 pound-feet of torque at 4,600 RPM. It is rear-wheel drive, weighs around 3,800 pounds. 0 to 60 can happen in 4.6 seconds. It can do the quarter mile in 12.9 seconds at 112 miles an hour. Its top speed is 163 miles an hour, and with a fuel capacity of 16 gallons, you can expect the MPG to be 15 in the city and 25 on the highway. The wheelbase measures 101.1 inches. It has an overall length of 188.5. The width is 75.4 and its height is 54.3 inches. Starting up front with the unique grille-shaped design, it's finished off with gloss black and mesh and a chrome trim piece surrounding the upper grille. Both the upper and lower grille are very wide as well to provide even more cooling to the engine. This comes standard with LED headlights and daytime running lights. The DRLs have a nice intricate design to them. There's turn signals down in the lower section of the bumper, along with great contours and a very large front splitter. There's also aggressive lines and hood scoops on the hood, and overall it has a very aggressive appearance from the front. Moving to the side, this features 19 by 9 inch and 19 by 9.5 inch machine-faced aluminum wheels. They have a high gloss black painted 5-spoke heritage style design to them. They're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S summer tires. This has 4-wheel disc brakes with Brembo calipers. They are 6 pistons in the front and 1 piston in the rear. It features the 4-wheel independent suspension along with body colored side mirrors which are heated. They feature the integrated turn signal along with featuring the blind spot monitoring with a camera under each side mirror. As an option, it has the Magna Ride dampening suspension. There's also more chrome trim pieces surrounding the windows and very clean lines running down the side of the vehicle. And finishing up in the rear with the 3D style LED taillights along with the sequential turn signals which are unique to the Mustang gives it a really cool design. This has a backup camera with 4 parking sensors, a limited slip differential, the third brake light is nicely integrated into the top section of the rear glass, and Bullitt spelled out in the rear trunk lid is the only logo on the exterior minus the center wheel caps which are just the pony design. And finishing up with the quad tip dual active valve performance exhaust. Alright, so that finishes up the exterior walk around on the Bullitt. What do you guys think? No matter what driving mode you're in, that exhaust definitely sounds awesome. I'll get into the different driving modes here soon. But this is also one of 2 colors available for the Bullitt. You can get this or black. Personally, I would go with the green because black is not as unique as this green. It definitely looks really good. This car also has a limited production on it as well, and this is the 3rd generation of the Mustang Bullitt. But now with the key, we'll go ahead and check out the interior. You have unlock, lock, but as long as I have the key on me, I'll just place my hand in the door handle and it will automatically unlock. The door panel is finished off in very nice black leather with green stitching running down the entire door, giving it a really cool design to it. The release handle is finished off in aluminum. There's a couple memory seat adjustments along with lock and unlock. The side windows are automatic up and down with your side mirror controls. This features the upgraded 12-speaker audio sound system with a little bit of storage space down below and more aluminum on your grab handle. Down on the door sill, Bullitt is spelled out. And moving inside now to the leather sport bucket seats. They are heated and ventilated and also feature green stitching running down the bolsters and down below, giving it a really cool design. The bolsters are very aggressive as well, and they do feature a 6-way power adjustability with lumbar support. Once inside, we're greeted with a fully wrapped black leather steering wheel. There's more aluminum trim pieces on the 3-spoke design to it. On the left side, you have all of your volume adjustments for the radio along with cruise control. To the right side, we have music and your navigation along with settings and all of your voice commands. and these buttons will control the 12-inch digital gauge screen. So with the electronics on now, this is the main screen that you'll see. To the left side is the tach, along with your gear selection and engine temperature. On the right side is your speedometer and fuel gauge. Right in the center, you do have a few options to look at. You can see the G meter, along with your inlet air temperature, your voltage, and your air-fuel ratio. But now, using all of the buttons on the right side of the steering wheel, we'll use the one on the bottom and go into settings now. You'll see the entire left side and middle of the screen now conforms into one. Looking at your normal settings, just like fuel, driver assistance, you can change your speedometer. You have some advanced settings for your display setup and your key fob. You can go in and change your units, your temperature, and tire pressure. Above that is navigation, and we can pull on that. You'll just see your normal navigation features. There's music to the far right, and then we can push on the pony button there, and you'll see that it brings up different driving modes here. So you can go into the mode that you're currently in. You can change the exhaust mode as well, or the exhaust note. So you have quiet, normal, sport, track, and then there is a quiet startup feature if you need to use that. There's track apps, performance shift indicator, so you can change your different shifting points with your RPM range, along with a tone or a light, depending on what you prefer. You have launch control, and you can set the RPM range where you want that to launch from, with the minimum being 3,000 RPM there. You have rev matching that you can turn on and off. You can configure basically what you'd like to see in front of you, depending on what different driving situations that you're in. And you also have different ambient colors and lighting that you can change as well. Moving to the left side of the steering wheel, you have a trunk release along with your headlight controls and one air vent. There's also leather running across the dash with more of the green stitching, both on the driver and passenger side. And also on the passenger side is the chassis number for which Bullitt Mustang you have. So that's a pretty cool plaque to see for this limited production vehicle. In the center, you have your oil temperature along with the vacuum, 2 air vents, and more of this brushed aluminum, giving it a really cool look. Now we'll move on to the touchscreen navigation screen. At the bottom section here, you have all of the presets basically that you can go into. So you can see I'm on music right now. We can go into climate, and you'll see that this does have dual zone climate, so you can control driver and passenger side and then sync them together at the same time. You have where you'd like the air to go on the left here, and then fan speed is kind of right in the middle there. You can shut everything completely off at the top section. You have more AC controls and recirc at the bottom. And then just going into menu, there's a couple other settings here along with the heated steering wheel option that you can use. And then moving to the right, we have phone. You have your navigation, so we can pull that up full screen, along with a couple apps to go into. And then your settings is to the far right, so you can configure your sound, your clock, along with your Bluetooth. And it does offer a split screen, so you can have your navigation to one side along with the radio, and you have the option to add a third one. Beneath that screen, there's a couple buttons in the middle. You have your on and off for the radio, along with tuning and being able to adjust your radio settings. You have a volume knob on the left with tuning on the far right. Very nice buttons too. They have a nice solid click to them. You have physical buttons for the AC controls if you don't want to use the infotainment screen there. With on and off, you have fan speed in the center, along with temperature to the left and right. You can just click on those up or down for heat or cool. And again, these feature heated and ventilated seats, so you have the 3 different modes. We have the red trimmed engine start stop button and a couple toggle switches. You have the hazards, traction control, the steering modes, and the different driving modes. So starting with the traction control button, we can just click it up one to turn it on and off. Moving over to the steering, we have comfort steering, there's normal and sport. And then moving over to the different sport modes, you'll see that the whole tach will change depending on which one that we are in. So currently we are in normal. We will go to Sport Plus. You'll see the tach now become the top section there. We can go into S Plus, and there's track mode. Everything will change again, and the whole tach will be on the top there, which is pretty cool to see. With your miles per hour to the far right, you still have the gear selector on the left side. Then we can change up to drag strip. Now you'll see a little light pop up on the far left. Then we can go to snow and wet. At the bottom, there's a little cubby storage space with a USB on the left side and a 12 volt to the right. Now moving on to the 6-speed manual. Has a really nice shift knob on it. You can see the pattern there for the 6-speed. Everything is very smooth about this shifter to go through the gears there. And then pulling up on this lever and going all the way to the left, you'll see the backup camera light up, along with the lines that you can turn on and off. Behind that, there's 2 cup holders with more of the aluminum trim surrounding that. You have the manual parking brake. You can open up the center console from each side. It has more green stitching on the top of it. There's a USB and 12 volt in the front and then a good amount of storage space in the center. We'll just push the button on the far left and you can see you definitely have a lot of room down there. And then one last look at these leather seats. Have a really nice design to them. I think the green stitching is just a really cool touch. And now, because this is a 4-seater coupe, I'm going to hop into the back seats and we will see what they have to offer. I've already moved the driver's seat forward. Just by pulling on this handle here, it will move the top section forward as well. These are definitely functional back seats. I am 5'10" and my head is just up against the glass, so they could be used if I had to be back here for a little bit of time. They're also really comfortable too. You can see the bolstering support on the backrest, and then this bottom portion of the seat is sunk in at the same time. So honestly, they're very comfortable. As far as legroom goes, my feet would be able to go underneath the seat, but if I had the driver's seat all the way back right now, my knees would most likely be up against the backrest. So these are actually functional back seats. While someone buying this vehicle is not looking for a 4-seater, you have the option to throw a 3rd or 4th person in here in a pinch if you need to, and you also have a lot more storage space at the same time. So it's nice to have that extra room. And these seats also have a 50-50 split to them. So just by pulling on this latch on the passenger side here, we can completely fold that flat and you can see into the trunk area there. So if you needed additional storage space, you have the option to fold both of these seats down as well. And now it's time to take a look at the trunk storage space, and I can either double tap the button on the key fob or the button from the inside as I showed earlier. This has about 13.5 cubic feet of storage space with those seats up, and then with them down, obviously you can see there's a lot more room for anything that you need to put in here. To the left side, you can see this cutout here for even more space if you have to put something over there, and then there is a speaker to the right side. So there's definitely plenty of room for this 4-seater, 2-doored coupe. So now it's time to get the Mustang Bullitt out on the road now, and I think the first thing that I'm gonna do is go ahead and put it into Sport Plus mode. And I'm gonna have the tack right across the top there. I don't need to put it in track mode or drag strip mode for today's video, but we're definitely gonna get a good exhaust note. And the first thing we're doing here is getting it out on some back roads. It's so easy to drive. I love how smooth the shifter is along with the clutch pedal. It's very light at the same time. This does have rev matching downshifts for you, but it's so much fun to do them yourself there. So we're gonna give it a little bit of gas here. I'm sure you guys will be able to hear the exhaust. Definitely sounds good too. Nothing crazy in that acceleration, but it is loud. It has a nice deep V8 rumble to it, as a V8 Mustang would. At the same time, it's actually quiet on the inside too. If you're just cruising like I am right now, we'll put it into 6th gear. It's a very quiet, comfortable ride, but then coming up to this turn here, we can downshift a little bit. Check out the handling. Wow. Handled that turn well and has plenty of power to get out of the turn at the same time. Definitely puts a smile on your face, and that wasn't even anything crazy. Going back to the ride on it now, it's definitely been very comfortable. This has the optional MagnaRide adaptive suspension, so it's the same ride no matter what driving mode that you're in. It's definitely going to give you a nice comfortable drive on the road. So just going on a normal road like this, it's absorbing all the bumps very well. You could drive this every day and be comfortable. At the same time, you'd be comfortable driving it too, because the clutch pedal's not very heavy. The shifter is super smooth. I can't get over how easy the linkage engages and everything to put it into gear. And then you can go over and use the other toggle switch next to the driving modes and change the steering between normal, sport, and comfort again. So you have a lot of different options to drive this and cater the car to the driving conditions that you're in. Now we'll move on to visibility. While this is a coupe, there's actually a lot of room that I've noticed in driving this from the inside. Obviously from me forward, it's very easy to see out, but a glance over your left and right shoulder, there's really no blind spots in each direction, so it's easy to see all around. And of course you have that glass, which is very large in the back that you can see out of. I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but this car has launch control. It also has line lock. So basically when you're getting up to a drag strip, you can disengage the rear brakes have the front brakes locked, and you can do a burnout to warm up your tires to get even more grip out on the track, putting it in the drag strip mode, which is pretty cool. Coming around that same turn again, we're gonna give it a little more power coming out. Wow, it handled that turn incredibly well. This car is so planted feeling, hugging those corners. You can really not feel any body roll, which is pretty cool to see. Moving on to the fit and finish of the interior materials. I really like how everything is laid out and how everything is finished. You have leather on the steering wheel, it's on the dash, of course the seats, and you have green stitching everywhere too. I think that's a really nice touch, especially having the green exterior. But you have brushed aluminum everywhere. It's on the center here. It just gives it a really nice premium feeling look. You have these toggle switches, which just give it a really cool look at the same time. We'll just give it a little gas from third gear. I've put it over into normal mode now, and the exhaust still has a nice grunt to it. So I think that about wraps up my walk around review and test drive in the 2019 Ford Mustang Bullitt. Huge thanks again to Mooresville Ford for providing this vehicle for me today. Again, they are getting in a ton of 2019 models. They have a huge selection to choose from. I will have their website down in the description below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did getting to drive a Bullitt Mustang. I've never really been around one before, so it was pretty cool to check out, and honestly, one that I would probably consider getting. I love everything about this car. I can't really find anything to pick apart. I love the interior, the power, the noise, and it's very easy to drive at the same time as well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next video.